Most wanted terrorist, the 1993 Mumbai blast accused Dawood Ibrahim
of the underworld Don Dawood Ibrahim.
Dawood Ibrahim.
About Dawood Ibrahim.
Dawood Ibrahim.
Dawood Ibrahim.
It all began on December 26, 1955, in the crowded heart of Dongri, Mumbai, a place where crime and poverty walked hand in hand. The cries of a newborn echoed through the narrow alleys that morning. That child would one day become the most wanted man in India and the world, a name feared and respected across 7 continents. His name, Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar. Years before Dawood's birth, his father had visited a holy man, Nirali Shah Baba, a spiritual mystic. The Baba made a prophecy: you will have 6 sons, and your second will have fame and money. His name will be known all around the world. His father, Ibrahim Kaskar, was a respected police constable, a man of discipline, faith, and strange friendships. Though he upheld the law, he was also known for his deep spiritual beliefs and curious connections to the city's underworld. Years later, that boy from Dongri would grow into a man who orchestrated the 1993 Mumbai bombings, an attack that shook an entire nation. He would become the world's most wanted fugitive, with a $25 million bounty on his head, and a crime empire that would reach every corner of the world. When Dawood was born, even the powerful took notice. Karim Lala, the feared Don of Bombay, threw a banquet to celebrate the child's arrival, an omen, perhaps, of what fate had in store. Ibrahim believed in the prophecy so deeply that he gave Dawood everything he could not give to his other siblings. While all his siblings studied in a small local school, Dawood was sent to a private English medium institution, his father's attempt to shape a different kind of future. He dreamed his son would become an officer, maybe even rise above him, but destiny had other plans. By the time Dawood Ibrahim turned 14, life at home had changed. His father, once a respected constable, was suddenly suspended from his job. The family that once lived with dignity now struggled to make ends meet. And for a boy like Dawood, sharp, restless, and ambitious, the world suddenly felt unfair. He was forced to drop out of school, leaving behind the dream his father had built for him. One day, out of desperation, or perhaps curiosity, Dawood committed his first crime. He looted a man in broad daylight. It was a reckless act, but it filled him with a rush he had never felt before, a sense of power, a sense of control. But the streets of Dongri have no secrets. The news reached his father, and fury followed. Ibrahim Kaskar, the lawman, and beat him mercilessly, hoping to teach him a lesson. But instead of shame, Dawood felt something else: defiance. He opened a small watch shop in the markets of Bombay. But behind the shiny displays of imported watches, Dawood began running small-time scams, conning tourists and street dealers alike. Each trick, each lie sharpened his instincts. He was learning how to survive and how to rule. By 1970, Dawood's reputation on the streets began to grow. He joined the gang of a notorious local don, Pashu Dada. It was here that Dawood learned the real language of power: fear, loyalty, and control. But one day, Pashu Dada made a mistake. He insulted Dawood's father, the only man Dawood ever respected, despite everything. And in that moment, the student turned against the master. In a crowded bar, Dawood grabbed a soda bottle and struck Pashu Dada across the head. Then, with blood still dripping, he made a promise. He would end Pashu's entire operation. And in the weeks that followed, he did exactly that. That day, Dongri saw something new. Not just another street thug, but the birth of a ruthless mastermind. The rise of Dawood Ibrahim had truly begun. By the early 1970s, Bombay was a city divided and ruled by 2 names that commanded both fear and respect: Karim Lala and Haji Mastan. Every street, every port, every smuggling lane belonged to one of them. If you wanted to rise in the underworld, you had to choose a side. And Dawood Ibrahim made his choice. He joined the empire of Haji Mastan, the smuggler who dressed like a movie star and mingled with Bollywood's elite. But Dawood soon realized something. Mastan wasn't like the gangsters he had imagined. He was calm, gentle, too forgiving. To Dawood, that wasn't strength, it was weakness. Tension began to grow. Mastan still treated him like a boy, and Dawood wanted to be a king. Then one day, things took a dark turn. Haji Mastan's men beat up one of Dawood's closest friends, a message meant to keep him in line. But instead, it lit a fire inside him. Furious and humiliated, Dawood vowed vengeance. He walked out of Haji Mastan's gang and began plotting his first real act of rebellion. Soon he heard whispers. A shipment of 500,000 rupees of Mastan's money was being moved in a truck. To anyone else, that was a rumor. To Dawood, it was an opportunity. With his elder brother and a few loyal friends, he planned and executed a daring highway robbery. The loot was clean. The plan was perfect. But fate, once again, had a cruel twist waiting. The stolen cash didn't belong to Haji Mastan. It belonged to the State Bank of India. Within hours, the entire Bombay police was on the hunt, and among the investigators was none other than Constable Ibrahim Kaskar, Dawood's father. When he discovered the truth, the honest lawman turned into a furious father. He stormed into his home, beat his sons with his belt, dragged them through the streets, and handed them over to the police himself. They spent a week behind bars before being released, saved only by their father's honor and reputation. And from that day onward, one thing became clear. The only man who could disrespect Dawood and live was his father. By 1978, the streets of Bombay were changing. The old guards of the underworld were fading, and a new name was beginning to echo through the alleys of Dongri. Dawood Ibrahim. No longer content with serving under others, Dawood decided to build an empire of his own. He gathered his loyal men, his brothers, his childhood friends, and together they formed a new syndicate. He called it D Company. Drugs, arms, gold. D Company had its hands in everything that made money flow through the veins of Bombay. And just as Dawood's influence began to rise, the old Don Haji Mastan did something unexpected. He left the underworld. He stepped into politics, leaving behind a power vacuum. And Dawood moved quickly and mercilessly to fill it. But not everyone welcomed his rise. The powerful Pathan gang, run by Karim Lala, wasn't ready to surrender its territory or profits. Tensions reached their breaking point when Karim Lala, enraged by Dawood's growing dominance, beat and humiliated Dawood's father, Ibrahim Kaskar. For Dawood, that wasn't just an insult, it was war. What followed was one of the bloodiest gang wars in Mumbai's history. Shootouts in crowded markets, bombs under cars, bodies dumped in alleys. The city was gripped by fear as two worlds, the old and the new, clashed for total control. The streets of Bombay ran red, and just when it seemed the city would burn itself to ashes, a familiar figure returned. Haji Mastan. The once gentle Don was forced to step back into the shadows he had left behind to broker peace between the two warring sides. The guns finally went silent. From that moment on, the city belonged to Dawood Ibrahim, and the reign of D Company had begun. The uneasy peace that Haji Mastan forged didn't last long. The control of Pathan gang was snatched from Karim Lala by his own nephew, Samad Khan. After the gang war, Pathan gang knew they couldn't face Dawood alone. So they joined forces with another rising gangster, Manya Survey, a man known for his brutality and ambition. Together, Samad Khan and Manya Survey struck a blow that would change Dawood forever. One night, Dawood's elder brother, his closest ally, was murdered. He was ambushed by Manya Survey and Samad Khan. That night, something inside Dawood broke. The man who once dreamed of ruling Bombay now dreamed only of revenge. From that day on, Dawood Ibrahim became a different kind of beast. Colder, sharper, merciless. First, he went after Manya Survey. Using his growing influence inside the police force, he leaked information, quietly guiding law enforcement straight to his rival. And soon, Manya Survey was gunned down in a police encounter. The message was clear. No one crosses Dawood Ibrahim and lives. Next came Samad Khan. In broad daylight, Dawood and his men found Karim's nephew and riddled him with 19 bullets, leaving his body on the same streets the Pathans once ruled. Days later, Karim Lala's brother met the same fate. By now, fear gripped the city. The once powerful Pathan gang, the same men who had ruled the docks, the gold routes, the smuggling lanes, began to crumble under Dawood's relentless assault. Karim Lala himself escaped Bombay, disappearing into the shadows, leaving behind an empire reduced to ashes. And standing on those ashes was Dawood Ibrahim. The boy who once hustled watches in Dongri had become the undisputed king of Mumbai's underworld. The streets that once belonged to many now answered to one name. From the docks of Colaba to the markets of Crawford, every deal, every smuggling route, every protection racket flowed through D Company. But Dawood was thinking bigger, far bigger. He quietly slipped away to Dubai, near the glittering city of wealth and shadows, where he could rule the underworld from a distance. Untouchable, invisible, and more dangerous than ever. From his new home, Dawood transformed D Company into a global criminal empire. He expanded into drug trafficking, international smuggling, cricket betting, and extortion networks that stretched across continents. Bombay was no longer his only domain. Dawood's influence reached Karachi, Dubai, London, and beyond. But it wasn't just crime that interested him. He craved legitimacy, glamour, and recognition. And there was one place that offered all three: Bollywood. Through secret investments and under-the-table financing, Dawood's money began flowing into the Indian film industry. He funded movies, launched careers, and turned struggling actors into superstars. Soon, his name was whispered not only in police stations, but in the dressing rooms of India's biggest film studios. He also became infamous for his affairs with Bollywood actresses, the most talked about being Mandakini. By this time, D Company was reportedly earning a staggering $600 to $700 million every year. And from his palace in Dubai, Dawood Ibrahim controlled the entire Mumbai underworld with a single phone call. And soon, his name would not only haunt Mumbai, but the entire world. By the early 1990s, Dawood Ibrahim was untouchable. A king ruling from afar, controlling Mumbai's underworld with a single phone call. But history has a way of pulling even the most powerful into its storm. On December 6, 1992, the unthinkable happened. A furious mob destroyed the Babri Mosque in Ayodhya. What followed was chaos, a wave of riots, blood, and hatred between Hindus and Muslims that ripped through India. The streets of Bombay turned into battlefields. Hindus and Muslims, once neighbors, were now at war. And in Dubai, Dawood watched it all unfold. Muslim women from Bombay sent their bangles to Dawood Ibrahim, mocking him, telling him to wear them if he couldn't even protect his own community. It was an insult that burned deep, and Dawood decided to exact his vengeance. In the months that followed, Dawood and his men began planning something the world had never seen before. Working closely with Pakistan's ISI, D Company prepared for a massive attack, an operation designed to shake India to its core. Then came the day, March 12, 1993. One by one, 12 powerful bombs exploded across Bombay. At the Stock Exchange, the Plaza Theater, the Air India building, and other crowded landmarks. In a matter of minutes, the city was turned into rubble and fire. Over 300 people were killed. More than 700 were wounded. It was the worst terrorist attack in India's history, and behind it all was Dawood Ibrahim. Some say he found refuge in Pakistan under the protection of the Pakistani military and intelligence agencies. Others claim he still moves between Karachi and Islamabad, living like a ghost, rich, powerful, and unreachable. But one thing is certain, on that day in 1993, Dawood Ibrahim crossed a line he could never return from. Even after the 1993 Bombay blasts, when the world had branded him a terrorist, Dawood Ibrahim's grasp over Mumbai didn't vanish. From his hidden mansion in Pakistan, under the protection of powerful hands, he continued to run his empire. Smuggling, betting, drug trafficking, and extortion. Nothing moved in Mumbai's underworld without his permission, but one day, someone dared to say no. A beloved Bollywood producer, Gulshan Kumar, the man behind T-Series, refused to pay Dawood's extortion demand, and in broad daylight, outside a temple, Gulshan Kumar was shot dead. It was a chilling reminder that Dawood's reach still extended deep into India, even from across the border. But while Dawood tightened his grip, his empire was beginning to crumble from within. His once trusted right-hand man, Chota Rajan, finally broke away from D Company. The two men who once ruled Bombay side by side were now sworn enemies. Rajan started his own gang and began dismantling Dawood's network piece by piece, hitting his rackets, intercepting his shipments, and targeting his men. The betrayal enraged Dawood. He turned to his most ruthless enforcer, Chota Shakil, and gave him a single order. Find Rajan, and him in 2000. Dawood's spies traced Chota Rajan to Bangkok. Shakil sent a team of elite shooters to finish the job. They stormed Rajan's hotel, opening fire in a deadly ambush. Rajan barely escaped through the roof, bleeding, as bullets shattered the walls around him. But several of his close friends and aides were killed in the crossfire. It was another bloody chapter in the endless war between brothers turned enemies. For years after that, D Company and Rajan's gang hunted each other across continents. In Malaysia, in Dubai, in Mumbai, leaving a trail of bodies and broken empires behind. And then, in 2015, Chota Rajan was finally arrested in Bali, Indonesia. Dawood himself tipped off the Malaysian authorities, ending his rival's run once and for all. Even from the shadows, Dawood Ibrahim's influence still stretched far and deep, proof that the ghost of Bombay's underworld was still pulling the strings. By the mid-2000s, Dawood Ibrahim was no longer just a gangster. He was a ghost, moving between Karachi, Islamabad, and Dubai, protected by layers of security and shadowy deals. The world wanted him dead, but nobody could reach him. Over the years, evidence began to surface, linking him not just to crime, but to terror. He was accused of providing logistical support for the 26th of November Mumbai attacks and establishing contacts with Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, and later Ayman al-Zawahiri. From the skyscrapers of Dubai to the ports of Karachi, from London to Kuala Lumpur, the D Company became a global syndicate, a sprawling network of drugs, arms, and money that reached over a dozen countries. According to the FBI, Dawood's men operate in the UK, Germany, Spain, Morocco, South Africa, Turkey, Cyprus, UAE, Nepal, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. Dawood's brother, Anis Ibrahim, runs the betting rackets. The money flows from stadiums to Dubai, from Dubai to Karachi, and then who knows where. It's said that through these networks, millions vanish every day, untraceable. The line between gangster and terrorist was now completely erased, and yet, Dawood himself, he remains invisible. There are no recent photos, no confirmed sightings. Every few years, rumors of his death circulate, only to be proven false. Some say he undergoes regular facial surgeries, changing his appearance each time. Others claim he's under the protection of Pakistan's intelligence services. Still, his empire lives on. According to Forbes, Dawood Ibrahim's estimated net worth is $6.7 billion. From a constable's son in Dongri to the world's most wanted man. A man whose crimes have crossed oceans and whose legend has outlived every attempt to end him.